Myoho Renge Kyo Nam Myoho Renge Kyo Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Oh. Hello again. Okay, let's continue with the last question that was posed in Nichiren's Go Show here about the Medicine King chapter. Question: why does this sutra, or why do this sutra, and this chapter particularly in the sutra, make a particular point of discussing rebirth in the Pure Land and women? Right? Answer: the Buddha's intentions are difficult to fathom, and the significance of this matter is difficult to determine. But if we were to venture a guess, I would say that it is because women are looked upon as the root of various errors and the source of the downfall of the nation. Pay attention, girls. Therefore, in both Buddhist and non-Buddhist teachings, there are many prohibitions laid down with regard to women. Among these, for example, are the 3 obediences set forth in the non-Buddhist teachings. The 3 obediences, quote-unquote, means to obey 3 times and refers to the fact that when a woman is young, she must obey her parents, when she marries, she must obey her husband, and in old age, she must obey her son. She is thus confronted with these 3 obstacles and cannot conduct herself freely in the world. Right? This isn't Buddhism. This is still going on today, right, ladies? So this is why I say you should be the greatest friends of the Lotus Sutra. So, continuing. If we turn to the Buddhist teachings, we find that they speak of the 5 obstacles. Of these 5 obstacles that confront women, the first is the fact that in the course of being reborn again and again in the 6 paths, this is how we navigate our lives through these 6 different worlds, realms, they cannot, like men, ever be reborn as the great heavenly King Brahma. In other words, they can't attain enlightenment. They can't be awakened. They just go through all the other worlds and, that's women. Second, they can never be reborn as the heavenly King Shakra. Third, they cannot be reborn as a devil king. Fourth, they cannot be reborn as a wheel-turning king. And fifth, they must remain forever within the 6 paths, unable to emerge from the threefold world and become a Buddha. These are all the earlier teachings. They maintain a cultural norm. Remember, Buddha was pragmatic, and he taught to the people of the time and their capacity. And in those times, even to this day, we still have a very misogynistic society. Not just here, all over the world, right? To varying degrees. Let alone racism and all the other problems, but specifically women, right? And in those earlier teachings, to keep people from becoming completely rebellious, Buddha didn't reveal that women were just as the same as any other human sentient being and could attain Buddhahood. Only in the Lotus did he do this. Only in the Lotus. He finally said, okay, now if you understand everything I've taught you, let's get rid of this last piece of crap. Women are no different when it comes to enlightenment than you men are. You don't think some people wanted to kill Shakyamuni after he said that? They did not like that. Today they don't like that. We still fight against it in the halls of government, this misogyny. But Shakyamuni Buddha, Nichiren, all the scholarship of Buddhism, when you get to the Lotus Sutra, blows that away. Completely blows it out of the water. This passage is found in the Meditation Outshining the Sun and Moon Sutras, earlier teachings. The Silver-Colored Woman Sutra has this to say, and quote, even if the eyes of the Buddhas of the three existences were to fall on the ground, no woman in any of the realms of existence could ever attain Buddhahood. Ordinary human beings though they are, worthy rulers and sages do not tell falsehoods. Thus Fan Yushi presented his head to Ching Ko'o, and Prince Chicha hung his sword on the grave of the Lord of Tzu. They did these things so as not to go against their promises or be guilty of uttering falsehoods. And if such men do not utter falsehoods, how much more is this true of the voice-hearers, bodhisattvas, or Buddhas? In the past, when the Buddha was still an ordinary man and was practicing the teachings of the Hinayana Sutras, he undertook to observe the 5 precepts. And among these 5, the 4th is that one must never lie. He firmly observed this precept. Thereafter, even though it meant losing his property or his life, he never violated it. When he was practicing the teachings of the Mahayana Sutras, he observed the 10 major precepts, and among these 10 major precepts, the 4th is that one must never lie. His resolute mind and conviction fully observed this precept without once violating it throughout countless kalpas until the end. Through the power acquired by observing this precept, he was able to attain the body of a Buddha. And among the 32 features that distinguish the body of a Buddha, he was able to obtain that of long and broad tongue. That's a symbol of truth, right? This tongue of the Buddha's is so thin and broad and long that it can be extended to cover his face or reach up to his hairline or even to reach the Brahma heaven. On this tongue are 5 figures that are like embossed designs, and the tongue is colored of copper. Underneath it are 2 jewels that emit amrita. This is all the hyperbole, the skillful means, right? This tongue was obtained by virtue of the fact that the Buddha observed the precept against lying. And with this tongue, he stated that, though the eyes of all the Buddhas of the 3 existences might fall to earth, no woman in any of the realms of existence could become a Buddha. Thus, we may suppose that no woman in any world whatsoever can ever hope to become a Buddha. And if so, then we must assume that when one is born with the body of a woman, even if one were to rise to the position of one of the 3 generations of emperor's consorts, it would not help one. And even if one were to perform meritorious acts and practice the teachings of Buddhism, it would do one no good. Nevertheless, this Medicine King chapter of the Lotus Sutra allows the attainment of rebirth in the Pure Land by women. This is very strange indeed. Is the other sutra lying? Or is this sutra lying? No matter how we look at it, we must suppose that one of them is lying. And if one of them is lying, then the same Buddha is saying 2 different things, which is very hard to believe. However, in the Immeasurable Meanings Sutra, the Buddha says, quote, "In these more than 40 years I have not yet revealed the truth," end quote. And in the Nirvana Sutra he says, quote, "Though the thus come one does not speak untruths, if I knew that by speaking falsely I could help living beings gain the benefits of the law, then for their sake I would go along with what is best and speak such words as an expedient means." In view of these passages, it would appear that the Buddha was speaking falsely when he declared that women could not attain rebirth in the Pure Land and achieve Buddhahood. Again, this is not after death, it is a transcendent mind state. And if we consider the passages in the Lotus Sutra that state, quote, "The world-honored one has long expounded his doctrines and now must reveal the truth," end quote, and, quote, "The Lotus Sutra of the Wonderful Law, all that you, Shakyamuni, have expounded is the truth," end quote, Then we must conclude that the passage in the Lotus Sutra that declares that women can most assuredly attain rebirth in the Pure Land and achieve Buddhahood is a true statement and an expression of his observance of the precept against lying. There are times when a worthy man of the secular world, because his son is behaving strangely or is guilty of some error, will declare that he is no longer his son. To prove the truth of the assertion, the man may even write out a vow or swear an oath. But when the time of his death approaches, he will forgive his son. Though he does these things, we do not deny that he is a worthy man or accuse him of speaking falsely. And the Buddha, too, at times, acts in this manner. During the more than 40 years when their earlier sutras were being preached, the Buddha acknowledged that bodhisattvas could attain the way, that ordinary persons could do so, and that good persons and men could do so. But he would not admit that persons of the two vehicles, learning and realization, or pratyeka Buddha, arhat, or the monks, the ascetics, or evil men could do so. There were times, however, when he did seem have more trouble turning pages to admit the possibility. Therefore, the truth of this matter remained undetermined. But when he had completed his first 42 years of preaching, and he was ready to enter the 8-year period when he would preach the Lotus Sutra on Mount Griharakutta at Rajagriha in the kingdom of Magadha, he first of all preached the Immeasurable Meaning Sutra. And in that sutra he stated, "In these more than 40 years I have not yet revealed the truth." And that's how he closes this Gosho on the Medicine King Sutra. So, I don't want to elaborate too much on that because we're going to cover it. The next sutra the next Gosho is a huge, huge one. One of my favorites. The conversation between a sage and an unenlightened man. Wow, there's a lot of stuff going on in that one. So, with this video, we close out the discussion on the Medicine King chapter of the Lotus Sutra, Nichiren's explication of it, if you will. Once again, I think it's notable that he points out the importance of the non-misogyny, the complete equanimous study and practice of Buddhism. That women are completely equal to men in their potential to awaken to their Buddha nature. That it's already there. That it's in this life. That it's simply for us to reveal and awaken. Men and women and all sentient beings. Okay? So I hope that's encouraging to some of you. Those of you who are women listening to this. To men, should be encouraging as well that you have in the female partnerships and friendships an equal in the Sangha of humanity to assist each other in the attainment of our Buddha state, Buddha mind, awakening, enlightenment. So it's good news for everyone, right? Thanks for watching. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. See you on the next one. Here we go.